You're listening to Charting Crypto. This is the 30th of March. And my friends, as we look at the markets, we see the entire crypto space is down today. This is Wednesday, but up for the week. And of course, what is leading the way? Well, Bitcoin. We're going into our second week of nice, ever growing up candles. Looks like the weekly vertical crossover that didn't quite occur this last week is going to make it this week, and we see that being reflected all across the board. And of course, what have we seen from weekly vertical crossovers in the past with Bitcoin? Well, you can look back in time and you can see crazy good results. You can also, and note this, that the 2-day crossovers going down and then the 2-day recrosses going back up have also served us well. In what way? Taking you out of the drops before you absorb any kind of massive loss, and also getting you back into the up move. You can see, it's getting a little tricky there for me. As I'm trying to expand things, I can go down to the bottom here and it'll work a little easier. But this is good enough. What do we see going on here? We see where the weekly vertical crossover occurred, and you look at how clean that one was. Price percent oscillator and derivative oscillator flipped over at the same time back on the 13th of August. And we had several weeks of good up movement. Then what happened? Well, things rotated over. The 2-day, if you stayed in that long, at least that got you out when it crossed over and then got you back in. Now, you could have stayed in the whole time. You could have ridden it down a little bit and then back up. But then, of course, once it peaked, we had that 2-day take you out right after the peak of peaks so that you would have gained so much of that move in your practice trade. And again, I use the caveat practice trade because we're not a Bitcoin calling service. We're not a stock calling service, bond calling service, commodities calling service. We're an education firm. I want you to practice with us. It's easy to practice with Bitcoin. How? Well, you've got now, since all these prior moves occurred as of like October, we have Bitcoin ETFs. These are Bitcoin futures ETFs, BITO, BTF, and XBTF. Now, yes, if you have one of the Bitcoin exchanges or one of the crypto exchanges, you can sure trade on them. But what's so beautiful about a futures ETF is it does move very similar to Bitcoin itself, and it's an ETF. It's got a very small bid ask, and of course, if you're on your favorite trading platform, guess what? Doesn't cost you anything on most platforms to buy and sell. Is that not wonderful? You're not getting hit with 2% here, 0.5% there, whatever it might be. These things are totally liquid. So think about it. Just practice it. And again, if you want to practice this cryptocurrency here, I mean, look at what the price is for XBTF, $46.60. That's not bad. And again, they're moving percentage with what's going on. So, you can, for less than $100, you can have a couple of shares and you can see how good you do. That's what we call fractional trading. So let's go back. So that's where we are on the weekly chart with Bitcoin. What about Grayscale Bitcoin? Same kind of thing. Now, it trades in the market, but it is a trust. It is not a future. Again, they own Bitcoin, and its price is regulated upon, of course, the price of Bitcoin in the trust. It's a little different. But of course, what do you see? It's crossing over too. What about Ethereum? Now, Ethereum, of course, a different cryptocurrency. It's moving up also. Now, do these things always move in tandem? No, not necessarily. But when there's a big push into the crypto market and you see weekly vertical crossovers occurring on things like Bitcoin, it is the big mover. What's it like? It's like the big tide coming in, and it'll pick up the largest ship, which is Bitcoin. And what does that mean also? The smaller ships will go up. Ethereum's the next largest ship, way behind Bitcoin, but again, much bigger than the rest. I've already shown you what's going on with the Bitcoin ETFs. Now here's an interesting one for you. This is Bitwise, Top 10 Crypto Index Fund. It is weighted based upon the size of the top 10 cryptos as far as market capitalization goes. So Bitcoin is the big leader, but what do we see going on here? Well, it too is crossing over, which is nice to see. So keep that in mind. Opportunities there also. Bitcoin's going up and dragging the rest of the crypto market with it. This gives you exposure to all top 10 cryptocurrencies based upon their size in the marketplace. If we look at some of these other funds, you see the Global X Blockchain and Bitcoin Strategy ETF. The ETFs I'm about to go through are all related to the crypto space. And you can see, now again, some of these that have not been around that long, of course, they don't have our price percent oscillator and our derivative oscillator on the charts because they've just not been around long enough to develop that as far as the algorithm goes. But you can see they're moving up. You can see something like the Bitwise Crypto Industry Innovators ETF crossing over, going up. You can see the Blockchain ETF. You can see the Digital Transformation ETF crossing over. You can see things moving up strongly on the Skybridge Crypto Industry and Digital Economy ETF. You can see the Amplified Transformative Data Sharing ETF. All these, the Realty, Shares, NASDAQ, Next Generation Economy crossing over, going up. And lastly, you can see the Innovative Transaction and Process ETF, again dealing with cryptocurrencies. It is moving up, not crossing over yet, but again, most all of these are. So the news in the crypto space after many weeks of down movement, then many weeks of sideways sliding over these last 2 weeks, heading up. And it looks like we will probably have, by the end of the week, a weekly vertical crossover going up. And let's see how high things go. God bless, my friends. Thank you for your support at chartingwealth.com. Again, if you are a Patreon member, you get this as soon as it is released. You're aware of what's up. And if you're not a Patreon member, become one so we can get this out to you every Wednesday as soon as it's done. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.